Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 7th annual WCS Talks. You could be anywhere today on a Saturday morning and you chose to be with us. So thank you for joining us. We hope that we have designed for you a very inspirational event. And it was our plan to do that. But of course, I think Biden might have trumped us there. So if you haven't checked your news, go ahead and look at that while we're getting started. Now, assuming the trends continue, the clean tech and sustainability industries have an opportunity to really thrive and accomplish a lot in preserving our planet for future generations. And we're very excited to bring you all here today to give you the inspiration that you need to go off into your worlds and build the future you want to see.
Our next speaker, Kathleen Egan, is the CEO and co-founder of Ecomedes, a SaaS platform to reduce costs, energy, health risks, and environmental impact for commercial buildings. Kathleen started her career in New York City in the fashion business, then received an MBA at Harvard and moved to the Bay Area. She became a serial tech entrepreneur, growing 7 venture-backed startups with 3 successful exits. Most recently, she led customer operations and analytics for Wiser, an e-commerce competitive intelligence solution. Kathleen also sits on the board of Five Gyres, a leading plastic pollution NGO, and she produced a documentary about pay inequality in professional big wave surfing called It Ain't Pretty. Please welcome Kathleen Egan.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Go ahead and advance one. This group has been really inspiring, and what a great day to have it. I want to share a little bit about my journey. I've worked in tech most of my career, and male-dominated tech. And I'd say passion wasn't something that was talked about a lot. And it was, I basically had to leave it at home for 20 years. I'd lots of jobs and bosses that weren't great. I fought very hard. The slide said I was COO. I'm actually CEO now. And that's been, something that I worked very hard at. I did sustainability as a hobby and a bunch of nonprofits that I worked with and beach cleanups. And it's now my full-time job. And what I found a little bit was letting go of some of the conventional wisdom steps that I had to take really moved me forward faster in my role at Ecomedes. And what we're looking after is the sustainability of buildings and how to get products in buildings more sustainable. But I'm not going to talk about buildings today. I'm going to talk more about passion. So next slide. Just to define it a little bit, and like right off the bat, everybody who is here on a Saturday, the day that the election results are coming in, right, is very passionate. So what I'm trying to share with you is a little bit of how to adapt that passion into your job, how to amplify your results that you can achieve at your job with your passion. And the definition, I think, is very personal. Everybody, has their own view. And it ranges from what fulfills you to some kind of responsibility. And for me, passion started as I got fulfillment from doing it as a hobby. And then around November 2016, it really became a full responsibility. And the passion isn't just for people, planet, and profit. I think we're all working on balancing those 3 things. The thing I want to remind everyone of is have passion for your skill too. So whether it's data science or marketing or communications or behavioral economics, get deeply passionate about that, because those are the things that are going to really move the needle, both the outcomes and the skills. So next slide. I want to talk a minute about journey versus destination. And I have seen a trap that some people fall into, that I'm going to do this job right now, and then I'm going to be passionate later, or I'm going to do good later, or I'm going to give back later. And I think that sometimes worked out for Bill Gates, doesn't work out for everybody. So keep in mind the journey that you're on right now. You got to have a destination and goals, but the journey is really going to define who you are. It's a muscle memory thing. And I put up this picture of surfing because I'm very passionate about surfing. Surfing is how I got awakened to some environmental issues. I saw plastic, like the last pictures in Indonesia in 2006 on a surfing trip. And this is a recent trip. And, I trained very hard to be able to go and surf these waves in Indonesia. It's really shallow and there's a reef right in front of you. but I didn't become a good surfer because of a week of surfing perfect waves. It was the muscle memory and the training that you put into it every day. And I want to just mention, how different it is to surf with women versus men. And having all these women in this group together, it's so great. When you surf with a lineup of men, it's a bit competitive. There's only so many waves coming through. You're kind of getting in front of other people, and if you mistakenly cut someone off, it's really a negative experience. When you surf with all women, it's everyone is like hooting and hollering and cheering for each other, and it's like go go go, you got this, and calling people into waves. It's a totally different experience, and I find the same thing in business. Next slide. So how do you do this? Number one, and you've heard this from some other speakers, but everyone here has a superpower. And if you don't know what your superpower is, it's because you just haven't named it and described it. So find your superpower. This is your zone. There's something that only you could do. If you have a boss who doesn't help you find your superpower, doesn't think it's important, get rid of that boss. Go somewhere else. Find someone who will help you nurture it. As women, we all have some tools to give us a superpower that's different from men. Empathy, collaboration. So name your superpower and nurture it. Inspiration. I think the more we think and talk about it, attending this is incredibly inspirational. You can provide inspiration too. And it's not just the lines of the hierarchy. Look to inspire people. And something I've been doing lately is if someone inspires you, really just thank them and tell them and be explicit about it and say, hey, you are inspiring. You just inspired me. It's going to change what I do today. Thank you. Put that energy in the system. Self-talk track. This is something that athletes study, the psychology of athletes and adrenaline. When you're paddling up a big wave and you feel like, okay, it's a house that might just fall on me, what is your internal self-talk track? And it could be anywhere from, this I hope won't kill me, or I can't handle these waves out here today, to everything here is here for me, right? Every wave is here for me. So not just can I handle it, they're here for me. So rehearse your self-talk track, because you are going to have to handle some disappointment. If you bring passion and you bring empathy, sometimes, like last year around this time, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to have to work through those disappointments. So you have to be able to watch the movie Dark Waters and see about how these big companies, poisoned the land with PFAS and carbonate chain chemicals. Then you have to pick yourself up and continue. So be aware that you're going to have to handle that kind of stuff. Next slide, please. Okay. So this is not going to get into too deep of math, but I have managed data science teams. I come from a family of mathematicians. I myself only have an MBA, which some mathematicians, look down on a little bit. But I think the math of passion is immensely important, and it goes back to the behavioral stuff that we heard about earlier, and people. So the idea that if you smile, right, one other person might contagiously get that smile and pass it on, and that's a good network effect. I think passion has that in more of an exponential way. Everyone you interact with, right, you're vibing them, and we're all affecting those around us. They say, you're a product of the 10 people you spend the most time with. So we're all influencing each other. How are you going to influence people? It's immensely important. And I think if everybody put a little more, thought into it, right before interaction, if you've had something that was disappointing, right, is your next interaction, you got to be authentic, right? I'm not saying to be fake, but I'm saying to be aware of what that interaction could mean for the other person. Imagine if in your job, instead of being competitive and different, people are trying to get the same job or trying to take credit for something or cutting you off before you got a chance to speak, which is how a lot of my career was in a male-dominated tech world. Imagine if it was like a group of women surfing, and everything you do, everybody around you is really, really wants you to get that wave, and you can be that for somebody else. So it's an amazing power that I think for years of male-dominated business world has been suppressed. And the next generation, I know, has a different and an amazing view of this. And I just really want to unlock it in my generation, who, we were told, I mean, I basically came out as a woman in business about 5 years ago. I pretended to be a man for much of my career to get where I got. So I'm still kind of unlocking it myself, but I think it's the greatest thing we can do to change the world and change the climate. Okay, next slide. So sustainability. This is what we're here to talk about. Any company, any job can embrace sustainability. And we are seeing headlines right now, unprecedented in terms of jobs that are being added to companies that didn't really care that much about sustainability until just recently. New roles at Facebook, BlackRock, Blackstone, the whole financial investment community are adding people very quickly to help them with ESG investing. Folks like Amazon have started, climate pledge, friendly climate pledge, this climate pledge investing, all different programs, and they need people to run it. So there's a real revolution happening in what kind of job. You don't have to be a CSO, you don't have to work for a solar company, right? You can be running sustainability at any company. And if you are an employee, your voice matters. Amazon, I don't think Jeff Bezos really gives a shit about sustainability. I think his team does. And the people in Amazon rose up and put sustainability on the radar. And now you've got this powerful, powerful company that's working on it. So you could be that voice at your company too, even if it's not, by definition, a company focused on sustainability. Yeah, I liked what the other speaker said about it's not a bumper sticker. It's a lot of small things. So your company does things. You can address it. I'll do a little plug for my company. If you're not doing sustainable procurement, your company spends money on stuff. You should ask your company, ask your CEO, how are we deploying the capital that we spend on, building materials, whatever it is your company buys? That should be sustainable. I think your voice matters way more than you know. You're the scarce commodity as the talent. Okay, next slide. So just in closing, this is so authentic, and it's so great for me to see how many different people are embracing this in different ways, and make it about you. So anything you do around this stuff, you're doing for you. And as women, we do a lot of things for other people. If you're a wife or a mom like me, this is also for you, and you should enjoy that. Don't be sad about it. Be stoked about it. It's free. I always say the 3 P's to my team: you can be punctual, you can be polite, and you could have passion. These are free things, very free, that you could access at any time. You don't have to get an MBA to do it. Anyone can do it. I hope that you've seen from today and all the speakers we have how valuable this is. And I just want to close with now and take something, 1 or 2 things, write down, put it on your inspiration board, or wherever you keep all your ideas, and say you're gonna do things. And if you forget one, like it's your superpower, go get that superpower, nurture it, surround yourself with people who are going to help you do it, and really just do it now.